Maybe we've got heat stroke.
Maybe. Oh, it was a nice day at the beach.
It was lovely. I'm still tickled because we're about to have a listen to Indian Summer as is our want when we do these podcasts. And it has this beautiful, lovely intro. And we're listening to it on Spotify, so you've got the lyrics up and you can just click on the lyric to skip to it, and Michael just goes click click, just like skip straight ahead. Oh my gosh, pissing myself.
We were just refreshing on the lyrics. We didn't need a 45-minute, second intro.
But we needed a 10-second intro of silence so you can edit this properly.
Well, yeah. Is there another way to pray?
Indeed. There's got to be another way to record these.
Well, this is the second last one.
Indeed.
The penultimate, one might say.
The penultimate. That's so exciting.
We shall not be doing her entire catalogue.
No, absolutely not.
Hi, I'm Michael Earp.
And I'm Bailey Turner.
Welcome to Michael's Walk.
The podcast.
Michael's Walk is a road trip, a search for something. Spoilers! It's myself, and it was inside all along.
If only it were that simple.
Driven by Tori Amos's album, Scarlett's Walk, I'm recreating the journey Scarlett took in its 20th anniversary year.
I'll also be there.
With the loving and patient,
always patient,
support of Bailey and Teague Lee, 3 trans queers set out across America.
That's 33 states in 55 days.
To connect with the songs, the land that inspired them, and the fans inspired by the songs. We'll talk music, travel, healing, and hope as we ask the questions: how do I heal from 15 years of coercive control and manipulation?
And what role does the music we listen to play in our own relationship narratives?
We've self-produced this podcast and trip.
You can support us via GoFundMe.
For the full story, head to michaelerp.net.
Well, to think about, I'm really looking forward to going back between this one and the last one and listening to the first one again and thinking about how far we've come.
Episode-wise.
Period, yeah.
Because of season 2 or all the way back
season
to
season 2?
Yeah.
Season 2. Just because the plan for season 2 was to develop these big creative projects, and now we're getting pretty darn close to them being ready to be, sort of to take their journey out into the world, and that's very, very exciting to sort of see how far we've kind of come in that period. Is something I'm really looking forward to.
It's very ADHD of us to give us a task of a podcast that's so much extra work to keep us on track with our work.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. Our therapists are going to have a field day with this.
I shan't be signing up for any more podcasts anytime soon.
I go straight into another one, which is foolish.
Well,
I'm a fool, Kim.
Are you also going to do the editing side of things too?
Yeah, I have to be a lot more hands-on with that one because it's also between 2 very, very busy Aquarians.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's even going to take place.
I also don't understand that. I don't think either of us have really good grasp on it, but we're going... But gosh darn it, we're going to try.
Yeah.
I realised that it is also very HDD. It is also very ADHD of us to not do any of our usual prep. We have not prepped song swaps. We haven't sort of...
I was thinking about them in the car.
Okay, I was asleep.
Yeah. We have just been to the beach this morning. We spent a lovely few hours with Teague and Aaron down on the beach.
Not just any old beach, our favourite beach.
Sunnyside, which will only mean anything to locals, but it's the local nude beach.
Yeah.
And by local, it's over an hour's drive away.
The things we do to get naked.
Yeah. I think the delight of the morning can be accurately summed up by Aaron saying, I just can't believe I'm naked on a beach eating fruit.
Yeah. In December. That was the big thing because Aaron's American, and so to be doing it in December when it's snowing where he usually would be at this time of year. But yes, he's loving life. It was a very special occasion. It was a very special anniversary.
Yeah, so, we were celebrating Teague's tea day. He turned 15 in trans years on Thursday night.
It's just nuts.
he and I went out for dinner on Thursday night, and then we went and saw a film at the Queer Film Festival called Close to You, the new one with Elliot Page starring and producing. It was so good, so very good. Strongly recommend that to anyone who wants to have a laugh and a cry and all the feels. It's beautiful. And it was so great that they screened that on Teague's today, and so we could just make a night of it.
Gorgeous.
He descended into this, talking to the screen halfway through the film, and I was like, oh, this is... I hate these people, but the whole audience was kind of getting into the loud, audible reactions to what was going on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a few things that he vocalized, people around laughed at. So, we'll go with that.
That's always the important part. As long as everyone's on board with what you're shouting out in a public place, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying very consciously. I was a guest on another podcast earlier this week, and I had a listen to it, and goodness gracious, just this... I've listened to this one, and because we're both quite garrulous, it works really well. But on this other podcast, these are two sort of very... They're funny and chatty British guys, but they're not quite the same. And so I couldn't believe I'm starting about 3 or 4 sentences at a time when they ask me a question.
I'm the one that has to edit you. My God, woman. And then you're
I'm
like...
so sorry.
You start a sentence and then you're like, and kind of... It's kind of...
No!
But with like 5 sentences.
I couldn't believe it. I can't believe they didn't edit me out, because I'm coming around the corner in 8 different ways to make the sentence the way that I want it to run off my mouth.
And so sometimes I will edit those false starts out so that you sound like what you were trying to say from the beginning.
Sure. Thanks. Sorry about all the extra work. But I'm like sitting here very like, don't speak until you're ready to speak and say the thing that you want to say.
Well,
don't be starting a billion sentences at a time.
The editing that I have to do on myself is because I want it to come out right the first time. I'll pause in between phrases. And so there's lots of me editing silence out in one sentence. There can be a lot of silence.
Wow, we're like the opposite of each other. I just fill. Terrible. I'm not doing another podcast guest interview unless I've had a Dexy. That's just the
Well, that could help. And here we both are, straight from
being out in the sun, thoroughly
lolling around on the beach, and we're 8 minutes in and haven't talked about the song.
Yeah, but I mean the song is like 8 minutes long, so...
Oh, well, there you go. We've rambled for as long as the song goes for.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness. Do you have anything insightful to say about Indian Summer?
I think I have loved this song for a very long time, and it's interesting looking at it now and going, I really want to get back into my Tory listening. It's been a long time since I've really sat and listened to Tory. I'm not sure why that is, but we go through our phases. This is one I used to listen to a lot because I loved this. Is it loud? Is it real? What we're talking about? And there is this kind of ramble. There is this kind of trying to make sense of things about it that really resonated with me. So I love this one, but funnily enough, while we were having a listen, I just reflected on the last few weeks and I went, I'm probably going to talk about femicide a lot on this podcast because we're going through a really serious epidemic of women being killed in intimate partner violence, family violence, or gendered violence. Particularly sexual violence. And for some reason, I mean, this is something that affects me all the time. I'm a consent educator. I work in sexual violence prevention. I teach healthy, I work in an organization that teaches healthy relationships and gendered violence prevention to children. Like, this always affects me, but for some reason this week, I've just lost my temper. And I found that really, really difficult. And that was a really key component of when we were on the original walk, turning around and realizing that I had to get back into that world, because when we went on the walk, I was working in a men's health charity. I was very much focused on my transition and I just wanted to have the simplest life I could. which I'd screwed up because I was dating and doing all these other things. But a core element of being there, and I've talked about this before, was going to the LA show where T did Me and a Gun. That performance was so halting, and there were other elements that night of other songs she did that just made me feel like I have to get back on track and I have to get back on my direction. Consent is my passion and sexual violence prevention is my life's work. I have to get back on with it when I get back to Australia. And we talked about this at Two Medicine and... Two Medicine? Yeah. This feels very much in that vein about speaking about girls who are sort of looking out from the attic or girls finding new ways to pray. And, you know, I don't know, there's something really in there about young women having to learn about the world and how unsafe it can be and how heartbreaking that is for women and for the world itself and for Mother Nature.
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting how this song, the nature of that Indian summer heat stretching out until it's so oppressive and saps your energy, and like I think she's captured that musically in a great way too. But then to tie these themes of just soul exhaustion at the state of the world into it, where the heat of oppression is oppressive. Yeah, it works so well on every level, even though it's hard to really pin down what exactly she's talking about in the lyrics, which is so Tory.
And even it's almost, that's what I love, is that it's even, does she even know?
Yeah.
Is it loud? Is it, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? There's this sort of, I know that's not exactly what she's saying, but there is just
sometimes I don't know what I'm hearing now.
Literally.
Is one of the lyrics.
Yeah.
So, and then the only time you kind of get a sense of where she might be heading is when she says, Mr. Bush, can you light the sage?
Yeah, the healing that's needed.
Yeah, precisely. So where are you up to? What progress have you made in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's really just been buckling down and getting stuff written. I've had a really good period of inspiration, which is exciting, but I'm currently trying to not take on too much new and without forgetting all the old stuff. So I'm in a bit of an old versus new, because I feel like the new things need to be part of the edits, not part of the drafting, if that makes sense. But I've been really inspired around some of the big discourses. Obviously, we had the election, and that's stirred up a lot of big, conversations, and that's driven a lot of... So I did my sort of On America, to the first draft of that kind of writing about America one, which was big. It's really coming together. I'm currently writing a big thing about how the trip affected my sexuality. I sort of was able to crystallize that I think there was a big kind of grieving for being gay that happened while we were over there, I think. There are just so many things that I took photos of or kind of felt, and I started writing a poem about when we were in New York and wandering through the Ramble in Central Park. And I kind of had, it was a very emotional kind of walk for me, because I've kind of felt the history of men who had been there, but I was no longer in that. So I don't know, there were a few things I've been writing about, which has kind of informed the direction of the Taxi Ride piece, which is exciting. So just some things have changed drastically, because I've gone, okay, no, these are the things that I really feel compelled to write about. So yeah, so a lot of pieces have kind of crystallized down into what they're about, which I already had. I had a sense of what I wanted to write that particular piece about, but now it's like, no, this, I feel like I've really got a good sense of, no, this is actually what it's going to be about, and here's the title, and here's a sense of it. So yeah, so no, it's just been drafting my butt off, getting closer to figuring out what I want to do with self-publishing, and it's really now a matter of time. It's just the time to write and edit. I have let go of my before Christmas pressure point. I'm now on the would really love to have it done by my birthday, and in a way having it next year wouldn't be a bad thing, because I released Ulysses this year, so it would be like 2 in a year is a big deal.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, for sure. It is unnecessary. So by my birthday next year would be just fine. But I do want to sort of keep on track with it. But yeah, things are good. And I end up doing this. I have like a big document with all of the things, all the little bits I'd written while we were away. It's like, I called it the on the road document. It's just all the things that I'd asked to be written or things I'd taken from stuff. And I had a look through it recently and went, oh, I've actually used that. Oh, I've actually used that. And it felt like ticking this like massive list off. I'm like, no, I've used that in this thing, or I chucked that because I did this instead. And I was like, no, I've actually managed to use quite a lot of, which made me really happy to know that that I actually am achieving this the way that I wanted to achieve it. So that I can feel a sense that all the poems that will be in the collection do have elements of things that I wrote on the road. Even if they were just sort of audio spoken to you in a signal or record device, which is cool. So yeah, that's moi. And I actually, while I'm here, I've also got this really exciting thing going on. So one of the pieces in Ulysses, this is kind of unrelated, but one of the pieces in Ulysses called If You're a Faith Lost, which I read at one of Teague's exhibitions. Someone bought a book to give to their mum for that poem alone, and sort of by an odd circling around of that poem is now like, I've been asked to license that poem out to a performance work that want to use it as this like orchestral choral accompaniment, and they want to use it for, they're doing like, they used it in another show with sort of my permission to just go ahead with it. And they said, well, no, we want to license it for our Fringe show because we want to perform it like regularly through this season, which is kind of amazing.
That's so good.
Yeah, so that
mean, it's such a great poem.
Thank you. But it's also a poem that was written at a Toriemos show. Which is just like, I love that story that I wrote her in Adelaide, that makes me so happy. It was either Adelaide or Melbourne, but on the Unrepentant Geraldine's tour, I wrote that work, and then I lost it, and then I got it back, and now it's having this beautiful life. So it's really exciting. But yeah, so no, good things. What about you, my dearling? My dearling? My dearling.
Darjeeling.
My Darjeeling. What an apropos name for us as big tea obsessives.
Yes. I finished my second draft. This is why we don't drink while we record.
Yes, but I'm so dehydrated. My body is like begging for water.
Yay! Yes,
That's nuts.
I mean, I say I finished. I finished this draft. I know that there is so much work left to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not trying to pretend it's ready for publication, but it is at a point that I have taken it as far as I can. I am now comfortable that it is working enough to send it to people who can either tell me that they feel it needs more work for XYZ reasons, or sure, it's ready for publishers and or agents, and then the publisher and or agent will
take the edit from there.
Yeah, be able to give me a lot more focused feedback and edits. Effectively, this has been my one task all year. So to actually achieve it, and I kept telling myself that I wanted it done by the end of November, so to have it done halfway through, or not quite halfway through, 3/4 of the way through November.
Still massive.
I'm
to have it in like a sense of completion.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a phase completion, is huge. Like, it's huge to write a book. You have written a book.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of it is kind of
Tinkering.
Extras and 100%, it's mechanics, but you have written a fucking book. It's fucking so amazing, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm really, really... Nope, I don't know.
No, don't do it.
I just
don't do it, you're dehydrated.
Yes, I can't, yeah. It's just really cool. And I just am amazed.
I'm very happy. So I finished on Thursday morning and didn't tell anyone. Normally I talk about where I'm at with my writing, even with customers at work, like my clients or whatever, if I'm friendly with them. But for some reason, I didn't mention it to anyone all day. And then I got home and saw Teague, and it was his tea day. And I was able to tell him first. And so then, like, dinner out and the movies turned into also celebrating that. And then on Friday morning, I saw my therapist, and was talking about how I don't really feel like the elation and the relief has settled in because I'm still crowded with so many things on my to-do list. And so he was like, you have to just take a day of the weekend where you are not productive and you do whatever the hell you want. So yeah, hence
So
a
we ran
day
down
at
to
the
the
beach.
got our kit off, and
And it was
made a
great.
yeah, and then we made a podcast. Oops.
That's all right. I'll take tomorrow afternoon off completely.
I mean, in all fairness, it's just because we want to do it. It's
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
we enjoy doing. It's not because we like have to, or
Yeah.
And I think if we felt that there was an obligation involved, then we wouldn't have done it. Then we did it because it's just a lovely additional way that we enjoy spending time together.
So it'll be interesting to see what we talk about in the next final episode, but we can discover that when we get there.
Well, by the next final episode, I will have read it. That's my big aim. I want to have read it.
Yay.
I would, by the next episode, hopefully we'll have had the shoot with Matt.
Yes.
I should be a lot further along, I should think.
It'll be good.
And that'll be our last, because,
yeah.
probably, I mean, then it's just
We do
making it,
make it
the next thing after creating this
Next
podcast
you'll hear
is,
from us is in our written words.
yes, indeed. Isn't now that's bonkers.
Yeah.
The next time you hear from us after the last episode, the next time then is that you'll be, maybe buying the things that we told you about.
Unless, of course, you sign up for my Substack or
Yes. Well, there is that. Yeah, exactly.
that kind of thing.
But in terms of
Anywho.
hearing from us
Oh, yes.
in this sort of form about these things,
Yeah,
you'll be kind of
exactly.
getting a sense of, we'll probably have to do some sort of Till the Chicken episode where we just sort of go, it's out now, here's where you buy it, bye. Just do a little...
Tell the little chicken come home.
I mean, I say to the chicken, but it's got to be a fat slut episode. Just fat slut. Projects are now released.
Yeah. Oh, your posse bonus.
Oh, now there we go.
Speaking of random songs,
That's song swap.
Yeah, what songs come to mind for you for Indian summer?
I've chosen a couple. So the first one that kind of came to mind when I was looking, because I had a hard time. Usually I kind of get a good sense of what I'm trying to achieve, but this one was a bit trickier. But I've got Night Swimming by R.E.M. I love this song. Is another song that I just adore because it's got this really beautiful melody that just kind of rolls over itself. It's another song like Indian Summer where when you hear start, sort of singing, and the story he tells, you're there. You are there, out taking a swim, and it's isolated, but it's sexy, but it's poignant and special, and I just that song just is a world to live in, and it's similar to Indian Summer. And obviously Michael Stipe and Tori Amos are sort of contemporaries and great songwriters and great singers and great lyricists. And the other one I did for kind of on the same vein of contemporaries of Tracy Chapman, a song called The Rape of the World, which is on the New Beginning album, and really is just about the planet and about needing to take care of it, and sort of understanding what the sort of main refrain through it is, mother to us all, place of our birth, we all must witness the rape of the world. And it's just this, it's a very powerful song that I thoroughly encourage you to have a listen to, because listen to it as a young person. Yeah, they're mine too. But I also just want to throw in there this great memory I have of Tori Amos on when she did the round table, and was saying how someone wanted her to replace all the pianos on the left plates with guitars.
Oh, yeah.
Which that already happened. Tracy Chapman had already happened. I just love hearing Tori know who Tracy Chapman is and reference Tracy Chapman.
Yeah.
So those are my two. What did you go with for time? My Darjeeling.
Darjeeling. The first one that came, both of mine might seem a little obvious because of their titles. However, they both spoke to me thematically as well. The first one is called Summer by Linnea Olson, She's a Scandinavian cello player, and her music is amazing. You should definitely go listen to her. I don't think she's released anything in years, but the song Summer is this really atmospheric, sweltering kind of cello music with her singing just the word summer over and over, and it's like she's pleading or tortured, but then sometimes it also sounds like she's rejoicing that summer's there. It's really hard to get a handle on exactly what emotion, but also all of them, and I really love it. I think it captures that summer heat where you're like, I'm glad it's warm, but also does it need to be this warm kind of vibe,
Yeah, sure.
which is certainly present in Indian summer.
Yes.
And then Hot Scary Summer by Villages is a beautiful song that's kind of about the end of a relationship, and like it opens with, you thank me for my hard work, but like this shouldn't be hard work, and then it looks at that dynamic, and then there's a line in it about, you know, the pretty young homophobes.
Love that.
Yeah, but how this all accumulates in the end of a relationship in a hot, scary summer. Yeah, there's certainly vibes coming off that too. So yeah, they're my two.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to a, let's say, hot, sexy summer.
Yes.
Not scary. We don't need anything to be scary.
No, certainly not. Certainly we don't. I'm also looking forward to a nap. I think we're both ready to just sort of chill out, put the aircon on, and...
I need to shower the salt off me.
Yes, same.
And then, lie down.
Well, we will see all of you in a matter of weeks.
In
For
our
our last
final episode.
Love you.
The Michael's Walk podcast acknowledges that the journey they are undertaking takes place on the sacred and unceded nations of many proud Indigenous peoples. From the lands of the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, we are fortunate to call home, to each and every Native American tribe's land we'll set foot on as we travel. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and humbly acknowledge their sovereignty.